So the Patriots opened it up a bit in the fourth quarter. The final box score numbers really do not tell the story of how bad a night it was for Drake Maye, the runner-up for MVP. 3 turnovers, 6 sacks, a total QBR of 16, the worst in any start of his young 2-year career. We have a huge cast with us this morning. Schrager and Schefter jump into the conversation with us here. And Schefter, you were making the comment as we were looking through some of the highlights. So much of what Seattle did last night came from that Russell Wilson trade. That trade winds up being something that really jumpstarts this franchise to a championship.
Russell Wilson helped them win their first Super Bowl, and he helped them win their second Super Bowl, too.
Yeah.
Because in that trade for Russell Wilson, they got Devin Witherspoon, they got Boye Mafe, and they got their left tackle, Charles Cross, not to mention other parts as well. Here are some of the pieces that they got in that particular trade, including Derek Hall, who played an active role last night. That one trade swung around the franchise. And you're right, Teddy, it comes back to the general manager, John Schneider,
Well done.
who
Well done.
Some people questioned that at the time. Do you trade a franchise quarterback like Russell Wilson? He knew exactly what he was doing, and that has helped this team return to prominence.
Schrager, the defense for Seattle last night, sort of the legendary stuff, right? One of those performances. We talk about some of the great defenses we've ever seen in these Super Bowls. This one goes right with it.
Yes, absolutely. We think about the Buccaneers having 3 pick sixes in a Super Bowl in 2002. And, of course, we know the 2000 Ravens and the Steel Curtain. 3 quarters through that game, they were pitching a shutout. Now, you're going to look at the stats and the box score afterwards and say, well, Drake Maye threw for 95 yards. All garbage yards. I mean, a couple deep passes that got him into this game. This defensive performance and how they dominated a weakness. Everyone knew the left side of New England's offensive line was going to struggle. Nobody knew it could be this bad. Seattle came in with a game plan, and they absolutely pummeled the weakness of the New England Patriots.
So, Dan, that's what I want to get into here. Again, you were not watching with us, and I kept asking these guys, is there nothing they can try? It felt to me, and Teddy, I will let you say it because you were the one who kept saying it. They just kept going into drop-back passing. They just kept dropping deep drops. It did not look to me, again, to my less educated eye than you guys, obviously, like they really tried to change a whole lot while they were just getting the ever-living stuffing kicked out of them.
Just as a defensive player, I mean, when I can just drop, your quarterback's in the shotgun, you got 4 guys that are going to put pressure on you, and you know they can't block you up front. Defensively, you have a huge advantage. I mean, Dan, I was saying to myself, I mean, little hurry up, move the pocket, get Maye running. These are the things that we're all talking about because Drake was obviously just prey back there for a defense.
Yeah, they tried a bootleg one time. Seattle was all over it. I think the thing that happens is, remember last year's Super Bowl? It felt like Mike Tyson. It was just this knockout punch from Philly's defense against Kansas City. This was almost like watching the walls close in. There was just nothing that you can do. It was this suffocating element. And I think what happened with Josh McDaniels in New England was, instead of, Josh is one of the great sequencers in the NFL. He calls this play to set up this play, this play to set up this play, so he's always on the attack. Immediately he got on the defensive. It was this very defensive style of play calling. It was this careful style of play calling. And part of me understands it. We were talking about it. Going into the game, margin of error for New England is small. Yeah. Can our defense create a turnover for a short field like they did against Denver in the AFC title game?
Touchdown.
Yeah, that was going to be their way for win. Yeah, and I think what happened was Drake started to get hit early on, pressured early on, and then Drake started to hesitate. He started to play slow. He started to see things that weren't there. And then this defense then became hyenas. It was let's attack, because then they can't do anything. There were throws there. Not a ton, but there were throws there.
Yeah, there was some where it was like, that's 3-4 seconds, man. Get rid of the football.
Correct. And it was just this holding on to the football because the worry to make a mistake, the worry to have the avalanche start with this defense.
I think the walls coming in comments you had there on his pick, literally, the walls coming in, and you start to feel it, and then you just.
Well, last year it was just this knockout punch right.
But it was also accumulation of 4 weeks of this. I mean, he got sacked 6 times last night, but if you look at over the playoffs, 21 times he was sacked during these playoffs. So you go wild card round, got the snot kicked out of him, they win. Divisional round, snot kicked out of him, they win. AFC Championship game, same thing, they win. Eventually, you can't win getting sacked like this game after game after game. And I'll say, to not find an adjustment, that's fine. But to also assume that, hey, Drake Maye's going to be back next year, it's fine. You don't know that in this league.
You don't
There's so
know.
many young
Absolutely
quarterbacks.
don't
Dan
know.
Marino,
You
Cam
absolutely
Newton,
don't know.
Kaepernick, all these guys. It's not so easy just to get back in there. Last night, they missed an
I
opportunity.
kept saying to Tedy, what do the Patriots have to do in the offseason? And to me, that focus needs to be in that offensive line. I know they went there in the draft last year, but Will Campbell didn't hold up at left tackle last night and struggled in the postseason.
Right.
They've got some question marks that they're going to have to answer along that offensive line. I know people also talked about Drake Maye's shoulder. The fact that he said after the game he shot it up, it wasn't a factor. Listen, that Seattle defense.
Yeah, any excuse that
overwhelmed them.
you see, I haven't brought up that shoulder once because it just takes away from Seattle and how good that they are. And I don't know if it would have mattered. Okay,
Correct.
in that game, how it played out, I think that's what the Patriots thought it was going to be. That 3, that 6. Okay, we're getting the red area stops. Good. No touchdowns yet. No touchdowns. But we needed the one play. All right. They needed that one play from Sam Darnold. That was the possible interception, but Sam wouldn't give it to him.
Correct.
Sam played too well. The kickers played too well. The defense played too well. That's why they're world champions.
And the only team that belonged on the field with Seattle this year was the LA Rams.
Last week.
Okay, so this New England offense just wasn't the same type of opponent for Seattle. And there's a lot of discourse about the MVP and Stafford and Drake Maye. This wasn't about just Drake Maye last
You're
night.
talking from a talent level. You're saying that the
Correct.
Rams are the only team that deserve to be on the field against the Seahawks.
He did not look like
100%.
he did not look like the MVP last
But
night.
this wasn't just about Drake Maye.
A dominating performance from the Seahawks, particularly their defense. That's what we've talked about so far on Get Up this morning, but there were two sides to the ball last night. Their offense had some moments as well.
Yeah, some of the explosive runs by Kenneth Walker were really set up by a scheme advantage. They're going to line up in a 4-by-1 formation, meaning Seattle's got 4 up top. And what it does, it only leaves 4 down here for New England. So right now, as an offense, I have a numbers advantage. And it allows angles for our offensive line to take advantage of that. Our center's able to get up to the backer. We down block at tight end, and we're going to pull around. If we make this as an offense, if we make this one block on the perimeter and Kenneth Walker takes advantage, look at all the space that we have at the bottom of our screen. This is fantastic by Seattle to create advantage when it comes to numbers and angles. Kenneth Walker gets outside. Nobody's left for New England because everybody was aligned formationally. Then the next explosive run is going to be what we call split flow. 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. There's our 1 back, our 2 tight ends. We're going to get the motion. Now, when the motion happens, you're going to see these backers kick over. They're going to over kick essentially because of that motion. And once again, you're going to leave defenders on the backside. Front side, that's easy, but look at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. I leave 4 defenders for New England backside, and these are easy front side blocks because of that motion. I have a guy on a guy, a guy on a guy, a guy on a guy. Kenneth Walker is able to push. There's nobody even remotely close to being able to fit the run front side for New England's defense. So Clint Kubiak did a really nice job in that 12 personnel, that 1 back, 2 tight end grouping of creating those explosive chunks. 15 times they ran the ball. It created 4 explosive runs for this offense.
It's outstanding. Clint Kubiak's final game as the offensive coordinator in Seattle. He now goes to take over as the head coach of the Raiders. And then there is the story of the quarterback. Sam Darnold didn't have a spectacular last night. He didn't need to, but his story is as good as it gets. His 5th career team, all coming in this decade. Jets, Panthers, Niners, Vikings. None of them thought he was good enough. Now he's the first starting quarterback in history to win a Super Bowl on his 5th team. Here was Darnold in the aftermath of a night that will change his life.
The reason that I'm here is because of my journey, because of the ups and downs, especially the downs that I went through early on in my career. I learned so much about myself, about football.
Everyone they have tried to put a story and a label on who he is as a person, who he is as a quarterback. He does not care. Okay, he just is the same guy every day since he shows up. He's so steadfast. He's a great teammate. The teammates, his teammates love him. All he's done since he's walked in the door has just been a tremendous player on our football team.
So, Peter, tell the story. You're a storyteller. The story of Sam Darnold is sort of unlike any that we've ever seen in the history of the sport.
You know the stops, and by this point, after 2 weeks of Super Bowl build-up, you know his career resume. What you don't know, maybe, is that his whole entire approach to this is no resentment, no bitterness. I needed that to all happen to get to where I am today. Spoke with Jordan Palmer, who's his personal quarterbacks coach since college last week. He said the same approach that he's had to his entire career, where just focus on today, focus on my teammates, is how he handled Super Bowl week. So there is never this up or down. He was never going to be awestruck by the bright lights last night because, okay, it's another game. What's fascinating, though, is you heard him yesterday with Alex Smith in the postgame, and Alex is like, hey, man, like your story. He goes, I know you want me to cry. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm just not going to sit here and be a ball of tears. Whereas Baker Mayfield has this giant chip on his shoulder, or you see Michael Jordan hugging the ball in the court. Darnold, it might as well have been like the third preseason game. Externally, we know internally it mattered, but that's his approach. It's so consistent, it's almost jarring.
Yeah, I look at it, that internal flame, though, oh, don't kid yourself.
No doubt.
It's burning big time. And when I see it, I said it earlier, was yesterday about a champion. You know, to be a champion, you got to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what this kid is. And when people, oh, no, you're going to throw more mud on him. You're not good enough. You're not doing this. It could have been so easy for him to just say, you're right. That he's like, no, hell no. I know I'm a champion. And I'm that guy. And I'll be dang, you know what? Congratulations, because you're a damn world champion.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it, and one thing I would say is I love that there's so many different narratives that we like accept as possible ways, and chip on your shoulder is like the only comeback story that we know. This is like new and it's different and it's real, which is cool. That he's like, no, I don't resent you. None of that stuff was, or that stuff was in my control, but I needed it and I'm here now. But I think the best way I could describe him, because we don't have a good parallel, is it feels like he was a guy who had a low floor and also a low ceiling. He's really raised that ceiling, because what he did against the Rams, that was incredible. Yes. That's like Hall of Fame level quarterback play in that game. The other games in the playoffs, it wasn't quite that, but it's still the fact that he has the ability to reach those heights and play within the system and not be ego about it. I think that's connected to the no chip thing. It's like he's not out here trying to prove everybody wrong.
Dan, you have believed in him from the very beginning. Obviously, he was drafted by the Jets. You and I were in our first year working together. You were telling me right from the beginning that you thought he had everything that it took, and obviously it was an unusual journey, but here he is.
Yeah, it's the greatest quarterback redemption story the NFL's ever seen, and he's got what all great quarterbacks have, amnesia. And I would tell you that he plays with an amnesia that few have. This is a young man that led the NFL in turnovers this year, then went into the postseason and didn't give the ball away.
Wow.
That hasn't happened since 2009 with Drew Brees. Great quarterbacks have amnesia. They never allow what just happened to impact what is going to happen next. That's why Sam played so well, and that's why they're Super Bowl champions. I actually thought he played well last night. That New England defense in person was fantastic. I thought the decision-making, which was the number one thing he needed to have, he had.
He never quite.
I thought he played very well last night. I'm telling you, that defense was good. It was sticky. He took a ton of hits. I know statistically it wasn't this masterpiece, but when it comes to decision-making and ball placement, he played very well.
Early in the game, there were a couple of throws that you thought to yourself, ooh. Like,
they were misplaced balls.
He's going to throw the ball into some tight windows or whatever the expression is, harm's way, which was exactly what you think that the Patriots needed him to do. The Patriots weren't able to make the defensive play when they needed it. Rex, you were going to say.
No, I was going to say that this kid right here, one thing I know he does, he's had more wins than any quarterback in the league the last two seasons.
That's for sure.
To me, that's what he does. Those turnovers are, in my opinion, all right, it doesn't matter. You want him to play free. You want him to get after it and all that type of stuff. Brett Favre was pretty good quarterback, and he used to throw it all over the place. That's what this kid does. But in the biggest moments, no. If my team needs me to protect the football, that's how he played. All through the playoffs, not one turnover. Okay, so to me, no, I think we looked into those numbers a little bit too much. It's not like he's always reckless. You can play fast like that in the regular season when you got a defense like this.
Good point.
There we go.
And so to me, that's what this thing's about. He knows who this team is. Number one, it's defense first.
Yeah.
It's defense first. Then it's, do I need to attack? He knows. Have we seen him win games in the biggest moment when he had to make a play? We darn sure did. Give this guy more credit than he deserves, or than we're talking about. No, he right now is playing at an elite level. How the hell can you win at least 15 games 2 years in a row, and we're saying this guy's not elite? Absolutely wrong.
I would say, to put the bow on it, Clint Kubiak also. This is a new offensive coordinator in his ear. Again, he had him in San Francisco, but you go through the different systems. He's worked with O'Connell. He's worked, of course, with the Jets. He was with Carolina. He's seen it all. He's got it. So now he's got this fully formed base of all these different offensive systems. He goes out there. He can operate it as well as anybody can. And after the game, we were talking about no emotion. Him and Kubiak were talking in the locker room. Greeny, it was like they were in the clubhouse at a golf. How you doing? Great. There's no it's amazing, their demeanor.
I thought that what Sam said about the team earlier was about how they were unified, and it's like a cliche, but for this team, it does really feel like the support that he gets from that defense, he recognizes it. He sees it, he values it. The running attack from Kenneth Walker, he also sees and values all that. I think he understands the role that he holds on this team, and I think that we see him as a quarterback, so we're like, hey, let's lift him up. But he's like, hey, you look at these guys around me, this is the reason why we're here.
I also think we say this all the time. Quarterbacks are dependent on the circumstances in which they find themselves. I defy anyone to have been drafted by the Jets in 2018 and have looked any better than he looked. He went to Carolina at a time when that was a laughingstock franchise. To their credit, they're not anymore. But in that moment in time, they were. No one was going to overcome where he was. Then he finds himself with elite level coaching, which he has had at all three of these other stops. When he was a backup with Kyle Shanahan as his coach, and then with O'Connell, and now here in Kubiak, which I know it's not the same guy, but it is basically the same offensive system. He's a great example of how quarterbacks, when you take out like the top 3 or 4 guys, quarterbacks are as much a product of their circumstances as they are of anything else.
Oh, 100%. It's the most dependent position in all of sports. And he's a great example of, yes, talent matters, but your mental makeup matters more.
Okay.